Have you ever wanted to have your own radio show? Rebooting Liberty Radio Network currently has openings for live programs. For a very small fee, we will create a show intro, bumper music, and provide technical production for your hour-long show. Email producer@rebootingliberty.com for details. You can find us at live.rebootingliberty.com. You're listening to Rebooting Liberty Radio Network. Compelling and entertaining talk. Don't touch that dial.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
To you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is hump day today. I was a little bit confused about I was for a good part of the day I thought it was Thursday. I have no idea where I lost Wednesday, but things have just been going so fast and so hard and so fast and furious that I lost a day, but it's a good thing that I didn't lose the entire day, because today is also Veterans Day, and I do want to take this moment in this time out to thank, with a heartfelt thank you, all our military personnel and Coast Guard personnel, past and present. In fact, I know it's not something that you do on radio, because then people think there's something wrong, but I am going to take 5 seconds of silence, just as a tribute and memoriam to all of you that have served in the past and who are serving currently in protecting this nation. 5 seconds, starting now. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now on to the program. Got a lot to cover. I know people are talking about the debate last night, and you know, I got to be frank. Obviously, I was on the air, so I didn't get to see most of it. I mean, I got bits and pieces of it today, but I get it. It's look. I didn't. Nobody said anything that I wanted them to say. Yeah, I mean, there was well, I'm glad that Kasich got put in his place, because as I don't know what happened to John Kasich, but he's no longer the person that he used to be, not the conservative that he used to be. So I think he's a non-starter. He's done. As far as those people on the second tier, I don't know why they're still hanging around. They're done as well. I'm sorry, they're all done. I don't see them coming back anytime. I guess you can give until after Christmas, after the first primary here in New Hampshire and the first caucus in Iowa. But if they don't make some significant strides by those dates, they're done. I mean, I think most of them in the second tier are done already. But they're going to be. They're just getting in the way now. But I didn't see any of them do or say anything that I wanted them. Well, yeah, you had Donald Trump out there saying, "Yeah, I'm going to build a deportation force." That's not a bad idea. But Mr. Trump, we already have a deportation force. It's called the Border Patrol and the INS, or actually ICE. It's no longer called INS, right? It's ICE. So we already have that. What we need them to do is actually do their job. Actually, what we need is the Department of Homeland Security to allow the Border Patrol to do because Border Patrol is under the purview of DHS. So we need to have somebody in the DHS that will allow the Border Patrol to do their job. And that is catch illegals and send them back. Now, frankly, I know that, and this is something that people are probably going to do. They're probably going to say, well, I seek asylum, I seek asylum. Frankly, I say if the Border Patrol catches you coming across the border illegally, there is no deportation proceedings that's necessary. All they need to do is arrest you. And then all they need to do is simply ship you back, go to the border and ship you back across. No problems, nothing else needed there. You're there. You get picked up by the Border Patrol. They drive you to the nearest gate in handcuffs or whatever you want to call those things. Not necessarily handcuffs, but the restraints. And then they get you to the gate or the border crossing, and they say, "There you go. You walk this far. Get walking the other way. Don't come back." You know how you stop this? You know how you stop people from crossing? Now, I know this is going to sound cruel and probably mean and cruel-hearted, but this is how you stop them. The first 5 people across the border that you see, that you have in your sights, you shoot them. Shoot them. First 5. I guarantee you the next 1,000 will stop. And they will back away. Now, some people might say, "Oh, Jesus, Rod, that's wow, that's harsh." It's when you're talking about an invasion of this country, when you're talking about terrorists being able to cross our border illegally because it's open, you do whatever is necessary to stop the invasion. And frankly, if it takes shooting a few of them for them to get the message that we are serious about our border, don't even try it anymore, then that's what it's going to take. Then that's what you have to do. Now, I know people are saying, "Rod, you can't, as president, you can't do it." Yes, you can. See, this is what I'm talking about. Well, I didn't hear these guys on that and gals on the stage last night telling the American people exactly not what they wanted to hear, what they needed to hear, but what needed to be said. And you're looking at a few of these people up there that are hemming and hawing and going, well, there's nothing wrong with with immigrants and blah blah. No, you do what Trump said. You beef up your return them now force. If you're going to give an IRS agent and EPA agents guns, you might as well give the good guns to the Border Patrol and let them use them. I'm serious as a heart attack here. But I thought you were a pro-life guy, Rod. I mean, come on. This has nothing to do with I'm pro-American life. There's nothing in the Bible that says I have to allow people to invade my land. And as a matter of fact, the Bible was pretty clear for the Israelites to not let anybody invade their land and not to have people that were not similar to them into the land of Israel. Do not be unequally yoked is what the Bible says. So I think it's pretty fair. Look, you have your own country. If you're over there, you have your own country. Stay there. Let us have ours. I don't understand the problem. Why is it that everybody else around the world can have their own sovereignty, can have their own country, can have their own system, can have their own sociology, can have their own culture, but when it comes to the United States, oh no, we can't have any of that. No, we can't have our own anything. Well, BS to that. Yes, we can. Yes, we should. And we have had it. So this, put the military on the border. Well, I know that it's kind of difficult to put the military on the border now, considering how much Obama has cut back on the military. Don't have the manpower. That's too bad. Well, new president, we can get the manpower back. It didn't take Reagan too long to rebuild the military. After the Carter debacle. Oh, I know Jimmy Carter has gotten some good news recently about his cancer, that it's responding well, doesn't seem to be growing or expanding throughout his bodily systems. So, he's doing okay. But I got to tell you that he's got to be happy to have lived long enough to see another person elected to be construed as the worst president in history. What is he, like 92? Now he can go on to the great beyond with a little bit of peace in his heart, knowing that he is not the worst guy who's ever held that office, that somebody else now holds that title. Let's face it, Carter was not very good to the military either. I don't understand. I know why liberals don't like the military. One, because military stands for protecting the Constitution and the American people, and that's not what the liberals are all about. They want to change things. They want to do things differently. They want to be more socialist. They don't want to be free market capitalist. They don't want small government. No. They want the big stuff, big government, big laws, big intervention in your daily lives, all that kind of stuff. And they can't. And the military stands in their way. Military is a big obstacle for the left because they're overwhelmingly conservative. Military people are overwhelmingly conservative. And quite frankly, if you're a military person and you're a Democratic supporter, you're an idiot. I have no idea why any military person would ever support any type of liberal or Democrat. Plain and simple, I don't know why that. Never. Wouldn't do it. Couldn't do it. But I know that with the debate last night, it was from everything that I'm hearing, it was less than stellar. There wasn't any magic moment, although Cruz got in a couple of good jabs there, and Trump got in a couple of good jabs. That's good, and And I know that they sort of put Kasich in his place because, look, you want to talk about being compassionate. You want to talk about being Christ-like. It is not. Being compassionate and being Christ-like is not having an oversized government that takes care of your every want and need. That's not Christ-like. Christ didn't say, well, yeah, just give people, hey, Caesar, give everybody what they want. No, it's not what he said. So this overtaxation, which is nothing more than legalized thievery. All it is legalized thievery. You're taking something that somebody else worked hard for. Well, you didn't work for that. Yes, he did. He spent the hours. I don't care if you don't agree with him. I don't care if he makes $10 an hour or $100 an hour or $10,000 an hour. He's the one that put in the hours to earn it, not you. So government didn't earn that. Yeah, hey, he didn't build that. Well, government didn't earn that. Because that guy, I'm building something right here. I don't have any government assistance in this. If there's any, well, first of all, I don't want any. But if there's government assistance in this, could somebody tell me what it is? I'm missing it. I'm obviously missing it because I've never seen anything. Maybe. Well, no. Do you even get? You don't get government unless you're a PBS or something. You don't get government assistance to operate a radio station. Put up a new signal. You know what the government is there to, in many instances, to create this barrier, this high cost of entry into so many industries. Now, some people will say, well, it's for public safety and public protection. And to some extent, in certain industries, you might be right. If you're going to get in the airline industry, then I want those airplanes to be safe, obviously. I don't want one falling out of the sky on me or my house or my family. I don't want to be in one and have it crash out of the sky. I get that. That has a high barrier or high cost of entry. That's fine. But do you realize how difficult it is to buy and own a railroad now? The cost of entry to start a new railroad is prohibitive. Nobody's going to do it. Why is the cost of entry in so many other smaller industries so high? It's a radio station. Why is it going to be so high for a radio station? There is, all you're doing is putting up a transmitter. All you need is a transmitter. And transmitters, unless you're going to put a high power, 100,000 watt station up, transmitters don't have to cost that much. But why is getting a license to broadcast so high? Why is the requirement of having so many types of things for a new radio station? Why do you have to have all that stuff? And why are you creating the cost of entry to be so high that prevents small-time people from getting into it? Prevents them from innovating. Look, you got the same thing with things like Uber and Lyft and these other rideshare companies. They're facing, not necessarily competition is not their biggest obstacle. Their biggest obstacle is the cost or barrier to entry into different cities and municipalities across the country. I know here in my state, the entire state, even the state police have said, okay, yeah, Uber's background check is A-OK. They go a little bit further than we would go in checking somebody's background. So Uber is okay all over the state as far as the state government is concerned, as far as most cities are concerned, as far as the state police are concerned. And then you get out to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where the mayor, for whatever, he must have something, somebody must have something on him from the taxi conglomerate. Because for whatever reason, he is like saying, well, no, Uber can't come out here because they don't allow us to do the background check. Well, The state police already said they do a deeper background check than the state police do, which means they do a deeper background check than the city of Portsmouth would do. So why are you harassing people in the rideshare industry who are only trying to connect with people who want to utilize the service? Why are you trying to create this high cost of entry or this extremely high barrier to get in to do business? So if I'm in Portsmouth and I want to take an Uber ride, and I call an Uber guy, and an Uber guy comes and picks me up, and a police officer sees you, then they're going to arrest you, the Uber driver. Then you look at the cop, you're saying, look, I'm the rider, I want the Uber guy. I want the Lyft guy. I don't want the expensive taxi. I want the Uber or the Lyft. And the cop will look at you and say, no, against a city ordinance. What ordinance? The state has already approved it. How the hell can you as a city say no? You can't. I'm just waiting for them to get sued, really. I'm seriously waiting for the city of, and you people out in who call Portsmouth, New Hampshire home, or people who have vacation homes out there, you're going to foot that bill because somebody's going to sue the you-know-what out of the city, and they're going to win. And that means the taxpayers of that city are going to have to foot the bill. And this happens across the country. I say Portsmouth because I know Portsmouth is a vacation town too. There's a lot of people that own vacation property there. It's on the New Hampshire coast. So this is the same thing that's happening all over the country. We have got government agencies that are trying to crush or prevent innovation. Hell, I mean, they don't know anything about innovation because they can't even get documents digitized that need to be digitized. So people can it's cost them $3.5 billion basically just to put one document online. $3 billion for one freaking document. Who does that? I told you about that last night. $3 billion for a document. Fun. How do you go $2.5 billion over budget on digitizing a document? I can't even believe it that the original cost was $500 million. They originally gave them the Department of ICE immigration $500 million to put 95 documents online. To digitize $500 million for 95 documents. And $3 billion and 5 years later, they only got one. And you want to tell me that these are the same people that should be able to determine the cost of entry for just about any other business in the country? They have no clue what they're doing. And yet, the inmates are running the asylum. And I didn't see any of those guys or hear any of those guys or hear any excerpts from any of those guys on the stage last night that said anything to the contrary. Not even from Trump. I didn't hear them say, hey, the cost of entry to do business in this country, it's too high for a lot of industries, for most industries. Nope, didn't hear them say it. And that's the important stuff, folks. That is the real important stuff. Because it shows that if they're talking about that kind of stuff, then they're talking about average everyday working Americans and how the government interacts with average everyday working Americans. You and I. No, instead they're talking about, well, maybe we're going to control the internet and regulate it. Or we're gonna change the copyright law so now it includes hyperlinks. In other words, again, on the internet which has leveled the playing field for so many, creating a new barrier and increasing the cost of entry to do business on or through the internet. Yeah, I mean that's their whole game plan. It's about control, folks. That's all it's really. It's not about anything else. It's about control and monitoring and modifying your behavior. And there wasn't anybody on that stage that talked about attacking that type of belief system so the government gets out of modifying and monitoring your behavior. Didn't hear it. Did anybody else hear it? If you heard it, hey, 603-835-3224 is my number. Let me know. I didn't hear it. Haven't heard any of it. Maybe I didn't watch the debate because I was on the air, but maybe I missed it in the excerpts and the clips that I saw. I didn't hear it. So if you watched the whole debate, did you hear that? I would think that would probably be a big thing to talk about in the news, and even in the alternative media, if somebody said that. I haven't seen it anywhere. Haven't heard any clips of it anywhere. It didn't happen. So again, let me ask, who do you think's best for the country?
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you are being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
That's right, 603-835-3224. That's the wonderful number. EPA execs enjoy great pay benefits while being investigated over sex with minors and felony drug busts. HotAir.com brings the story. That's their headline. Hey, look, it's good to be a part of the government, right? Good to be working for the government. Hey, most of those guys on the stage last night, most of them either currently or did in the past work for the government. Isn't that an interesting saying? Now, government is supposed to be, we the people. So really what you're supposed to be saying is that they're working for the people. I worked for the people. No, they say they're in government. They work for the government. Well, the government isn't an entity all unto itself, but now it is. Yeah, that's not what it was intended to be. Isn't that interesting? How we twist language a little bit to actually reveal the reality, but people don't pay attention to it. Used to be, I'm in government service, or I'm in service to the people, or I work for the people. Now it's, I work for the government. It used to be upholding the law. It used to be lawmen upholding the law. Now it's law enforcement officer. Just subtle changes that mean the world of difference. Look around. See if you see any more of these types of grammatical switches. And you'll understand why the thought process has come to be what the thought process is today from what it used to. Our grandparents didn't used to think the way that we think today because their vocabulary described what was actually accurately going on differently. So we have to describe what's accurately going on differently from them because it's there. Our government is operating differently from the government back then. Of that, that's a historical fact that there is no doubt. Sure, you always had bad apples. From day one, you had bad apples in the fledgling governments of the colonies and the early states. Of course, you had bad apples. There's always going to be people are people. Human beings are human beings. There's going to be bad apples. As Michael Jackson said, one bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch, girl. For the whole bunch, girl. I brought back some memories from some of the older listeners. How long has been a while? 4 or 5 years now, hasn't it? Or is it longer? I don't remember. I don't recall the year that he passed away. I know it was in the summer. It was in August, right? It was in July. About to turn, his birthday's in August, I think, and he passed away in July, so been 51 years old, I think. I think he was 50 when he passed. I don't recall. But anyway, that was a while ago. How long has Princess Diana been gone? Time is fleeting, people. It was before the year 2000 that she was in that wreck and passed away, right? But when Wills and Harry were still killing. Well, Wills he was in, I guess, the equivalent of high school, right? Was it 90? Was it 99? No, but 97, wasn't it? It's been a while now. That's amazing how time flies. You don't even think about it. Hey, look, in a year, in less than 12 months now, less than 12 months now, we'll be going to the polls to try to, but to elect a new president of the United States of America. So that means 8 years ago, at this time, is when we elected the current occupant of the Oval Office. We've made it 8 years. I don't know if we're going to make the next 12 months, but we've made it 8 years. Can you believe it? Look, I remember when it was first announced that he trounced McCain, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's the end of the country. It's the end of the country. It's the end of the world as we know it. And believe me, there were people out there playing that song. They were playing it for a week after his election. At least around here. I mean, you might say, well, that's kind of funny. Well, it wasn't really funny back then. It's still not really funny now, considering what we've been through and what he's done. But I distinctly remember that. And when he was, his inauguration, and he was giving his inauguration speech, there were other people that were playing that song again. It's the end of the world but it's amazing and interesting. Language is very interesting. When you start really paying attention to it, and you start listening to the little differences in the different words that people use and how one word for another, or they move a word around so it sounds totally different. Because, again, like I said, you had upholding the law to law enforcement. Working for the people. But it means something totally different. And when you get people that work for the government, well, now they get privileges that the rest of the people do not get. EPA execs enjoy great pay and benefits while being investigated over sex with minors and felony drug bust. Now, here in New Hampshire, there was an 18-year-old high school boy who was just convicted of having sex with a 15-year-old, a high school senior having sex with a high school sophomore. And now he's a convicted sex offender and has to register as a sex offender the rest of his life. And yet we have these ones. He doesn't get to get any pay. He doesn't get to go to college. The kid's going to jail for a year. But that kid doesn't work for the government, does he? No. He's a high school student who just happened to be 18 years old at the time of his sexual escapades with the 15-year-old sophomore. And those who worked for the government decided, well, we're going to bring the hammer down on this kid. But where's the hammer coming down on the real adults in the EPA who are having sex with minors? They get to keep their jobs, their pay, their benefits, enjoy all that wonderful travel that the EPA has been doing, and utilizing the the relocation bonuses and grants that are available and stealing the money from the American people, the taxpayer. Oh, but they get to keep their jobs and keep going on until when? I don't know, because nobody wants to bring the hammer down on them, but they're going to bring the hammer down on some no-name little kid, 18-year-old high school student from Concord, New Hampshire, and then say, you cannot have sex with a sophomore when you're a senior because you're 18 years old and she's only 15. No suit for you. Go straight to jail, register as a sex offender when you get out. The rest of your life from the age of 19 on is over. Oh, but go to work for the government, kid. If you were working for the government, if you had waited just a year, son, when you graduated and got out of high school and went to work for a government agency, oh, then you might be able to get away with it. That's what they're telling us here. The story goes, insubordination, disruptive behavior, falsifying documents, threatening colleagues. Those were the least egregious reasons employees at the Environmental Protection Agency were placed on extended administrative leave, as documented in a recent audit by the agency's Inspector General. Now, administrative leave is an excused absence without loss of pay or benefits, including personal leave time. So, hey, why don't you go home with pay? Okay. I'm going to come to work. I'm going to still get paid? Okay. Who's really going to argue that? Remember now, the EPA, these guys are getting guns. Yeah, well, they just spent $1.5 million in buying guns and another $300,000, something like that, on ammunition. They just spent money on guns. So some of them might be armed. You want to release the EPA agents out onto the, without a noose on them or anything? They might have a gun. There was the employee jailed for felony drug possession and another who admitted to knowingly having sex with a minor, both of whom spent months away from work while still pocketing pay as EPA managers and administrators determined their employment status. So they go to jail, they get convicted, or they take drugs, and an EPA manager or administrator is going to take months to determine their employment status? What happens in the private sector if you get convicted of felonious drug use? Get fired on the spot. What happens if you get convicted of having sex with a minor? Well, depending on your job, you get fired on the spot. It doesn't take the administrator or managers of that particular business very long to figure out what to do with you. But for some reason, it can take months for EPA managers and administrators to figure out what to do with employees that they send on administrative leave because, hey, you were caught, doing drugs, taking crack or coke or, that's code for cocaine for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda. No. You get to, if you're in the private sector, you get dumped, canned, fired right on the spot. But if you're working for government, we're going to have to determine your employment status with us. So right now we're going to send you home on paid leave, administrative leave. You're not to come into the office at all. Never, ever. You're to stay away. Do no work, not even at home. You understand? You cannot do any work, but you will continue to get your full salary, full benefits, and full vacation time accruement. But you can't do any work. Do you understand? All right, now get out of here. No, you're not fired. It's going to take us a few months to determine whether or not we should fire you. And then, of course, you'll have a review board, and you'll get to appeal. And all that time could take up to a year. You're going to collect your salary, your benefits, and your accrued vacation time. But remember, You can't do any work here at the EPA while you're on administrative leave. Do you understand that? Do not violate that rule. Stay away. So in the meantime, they go home on a vacation. Paid vacation. Taxpayer-funded vacation, I might add. I don't, what is it? I don't know how it's going to, well, it doesn't seem to be something that would take a hell of a lot of, effort to figure out. Now, the job of the Inspector General at any federal agency these days can't be as an easy one, and the inspectors are probably feeling pretty darn unappreciated. Just think about it. You bring up all this stuff about these people that should get a normal person fired, and they get unpaid administrative leave for months and months and months. In a memo last week, Office of Personnel Management Director Catherine Archuleta. Remember David Archuleta from American Idol? Oh, he was some cute little Latino kid from out in Colorado or something, I think. Been a while for him, too. Is he still around? I don't know. But anyway, it's the same spelling, but I don't think there's any relation, just in case you remember. Archulet. What? He was like 15 or so, 14 or 15 when he was a short little, teenage boy with a big smile, a decent voice, and everybody just loved him, fell in love with him, I guess. I don't know. Hey, he could have been the original. If he was a nice kid. If he was a jerk, he could have been the next Justin Bieber Justin Bieber. I almost said Dustin. Is there a Dustin Bieber out there? I don't think so. He could have been the next Justin Bieber. I know I'm supposed to be up on this pop culture stuff, and I can't remember because it all sounds the same, they all sound the same, look the same, act the same. I don't know. It's hard to tell when one begins and one ends nowadays. Wasn't it just before Justin Bieber came up? Wasn't it Chris Brown who was the bad boy with the bad attitude? Wasn't he smacking around his girlfriend? Rihanna. Wasn't he smacking around? And there was a while nobody wanted to play his records, and then he came back and begged his fans, "Oh, get the records, the radio station to play my stuff, man. They won't play my new stuff." And I remember that. And now it's like nothing ever happened. Like, are you kidding me? And now you got Justin Bieber running around, taking frontal nude pictures and pictures in his underwear and all that kind of stuff and say, "Oh no, I've changed. And next thing you know, he storms off stage and acts like a little brat again at the age of 21. I don't get it. I don't. Maybe I'm missing something here. What? Maybe it's they're cute. Well, David Archuleta was called cute, and he didn't do all that kind of stuff. And I'm getting off track. But this is who your children are looking up to. And when you look up to these people who are acting like total asswipes and privileged brats, and then they become adults that act the same way, it's easy to understand and see why we get these people, some people just like this, in our government who think that they're privileged, who think that they're untouchable, who think they can get away with doing anything they darn well please. And then when they get caught, they're all surprised that nobody wants to protect them and nobody wants to, let them continue doing what they're doing, like it's expected of them. Like they're supposed to get some special. Do you know who I am? I mean, really? I got two answers for that. Well, I got one answer for that. Do you know who I am? If I do know you, I'll say yeah. And if I don't know you, I'll say no. But right after that yes or no is one answer. But I don't care. Yeah, I know you, but I don't care. You did something wrong. No, I don't know you, and I don't care. You did something wrong. So in a memo last week, Office of Personnel Management Director Catherine Archuleta told agency heads that the extensive use of administrative leave throughout government should be just the opposite, a temporary solution only for problem employees who pose a danger to themselves or their colleagues. How about those that break the law? You know, it might not be a dangerous, they may not be a dangerous person, you know, danger to their colleagues or danger to other government employees or danger to the American people. But how about they committed a crime? How about that? You know, it might be a white collar crime. I don't know. It could be a mutual crime. You know, maybe they got caught selling a little bit of coke to somebody. Well, the person wanted the coke. They had the coke. Government employee had the coke, so sold the coke to the person who wanted the coke. He's not pushing it. Just sold it to the person who wanted some. You know, want a little blow, a little something, a little sniff to get through the day. You know what I'm saying? They got caught, and they both get in trouble. They broke the law. Now, I guarantee you, if that other person who's buying it is in a private job and in a private sector and that gets back to his boss, he's fired. But the guy that's working for the EPA, you're going to go on administrative leave. In other words, if someone poses a threat to his own safety or the safety of others, send them home. How about just send them home permanently? What is wrong with that? And again, I didn't hear anybody on the stage last night addressing this type of government abuse. And it is government abuse. Clearly, the various department heads are either ignoring Archuleta's order or find themselves powerless to comply. Meanwhile, now get this number, folks. Meanwhile, roughly 57,000 federal employees continue to stay at home, collecting a combined total of nearly $750 million per year in salary alone. 57,000 federal employees continue to stay at home, collecting a combined taxpayer-supported and paid for $750 million in annual salaries alone. And the amount that taxpayers are spending on benefits for them is not included in that figure. So for those of you who are probably saying, why are you even bothering with this story, Rod? Because it is costing the taxpayer $750 million a year in salaries alone to keep some 57,000 federal employees at home on administrative leave because they did something that they should not have done. One way or the other. They did something they should not have did. And did it, so they should be done, but they're not. They're at home collecting pay while you either look for a full-time job or go to your full-time job every day, making probably half of what they make for sitting at home in their duff, doing nothing. Because they broke a rule of law or regulation. And some jerk off in their department can't make a decision on firing them or not. That's what it comes down to. Look, if you want, I don't want to be paying for 57,000 people who aren't producing anything. Do you think I mean, you liberals, do you think that's fair? You know, we're talking, these people earn on average now almost twice, double, 40% more than their private sector counterpart earns. And their private sector counterpart doesn't get the benefit of hanging out at home all year long for a full salary. In full benefits. Now, you want to toss on the benefits of that, you're going to at least double that. Benefits are going to be at least the equivalent of a salary. as far as all the benefits and taxes and all that kind of stuff that has to be paid, you're looking at $1.5 billion a year in taxpayer money going to people who probably should be fired. And I didn't hear anybody on that stage. Well, maybe Trump when he said, he was going to do this, and as far as before, he said he would fire people. But I didn't hear anybody else on that stage talking about stopping this kind of abuse and waste of the public systems. Didn't hear. Haven't heard yet. Still waiting to hear. Probably won't ever hear. Because you know why? I'm convinced that we need to stop letting the media ask the questions. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Fox, NBC, CBS, CNBC, CFBC, XYWYZ. I don't care who it is. We got to get away from these media journalistic moderated debates because they're dumb, they're stupid, they're idiotic, they're worthless. They don't get to the meat of the problem that most Americans are facing. And the questions that most Americans would ask these candidates on both sides of the political aisle are not being asked by these so-called journalists who all have their own agenda. That's right. Both sides have an agenda. Don't doubt me.
You're listening to Rebooting Liberty Radio Network, compelling and entertaining talk. Don't touch that dial.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here. But then one of my buddies showed me this website. And now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
At Internet Talk Radio right here on the Rod Eccles Show. I am your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The number that you can call this evening is 603-835-3224. And this is, of course, the fastest 2 hours on Internet talk radio. So all you ecclesiastites, are you prepared for the new year? Come that first week of January 5th, I do believe it is, we switch from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern times to 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time, right here. And most of your you people that are listening out there, Rod Eccles Zinc Media Spreaker network. If you're listening out there on another network, you're most likely, from what I understand, more than 90% of all the networks are holding on to the show, and many of them will be broadcasting live. So even if you're not hearing it live right now on your favorite network, they'll be carrying it live 5th from 9 to noon. So you'll be able to truly hear me wherever you are. And some of these, I don't have an app. I've been thinking about getting an app, but I know some of the my syndicated networks, I know they have their own apps. Some of them do, so you can grab their app and listen to the program live. Yeah, that's cool. I think I'm going to be apt. Yes, apt. And anybody out there know how to make an app? I don't know how to make apps. Now, I know that there's probably software out there that can help you make a basic app, right? But those probably don't work as well. I wouldn't sell my app. No, you'd be able to get it for free. So if somebody out there knows how to make an app and they want to do me a solid, man. I might be showing my age by saying that. But do me a solid. Let me know, and let's work on an app. I don't know how to do. I'll admit it. I'm not a techie. I'm not a technophile like that. I guess maybe it wasn't. Maybe I should have paid more attention. High school when we had computer classes and things, programming classes and things like that. I didn't. All I wanted to do was just play the games. Computer games. It was some new and different. That's all I wanted. I didn't care about how they got. I didn't want to be able to design the game. I just wanted to be able to play it. I got pretty good at some video games too. So, computer games. Hey, did you hear this? Dateline Washington, D.C. Now, I don't know. Well, I guess there are some classy men out there that would not, particularly enjoy this type of thing. But Washington, D.C. woman is charged with sexual assault in an alleged attack on a man at a gas station in D.C. that involved twerking. Now, according to this story, there were 2 women involved. 2 women groped and twerked on a man at a gas station. One woman, Ayana Marie Knight, has been charged with third-degree assault, and police are still seeking the other suspect. Now, I saw some of the video. This guy is trying to, you go to the refrigerator case. I don't know if he was trying to get himself a 40, doesn't matter what he's trying to get. If he's trying to get some Schlitz malt liquor and he's trying to get a 40-ouncer, it doesn't really matter what or is he getting milk for his kids? It doesn't really matter. The guy is minding his own business. And next thing you know, this woman is in front of him, bends over, backs that thing up into his crotch and starts twerking on him. And then the guy tries to back up. He's probably thinking that at first he's probably thinking, what? Is this like candid camera or something? Am I on? And then here comes the second woman and reaches over and just tries to fondle the guy. I mean, I don't. Now, women would always tend to say that, well, guys like that kind of thing. I got to tell you, no, we don't. I mean, look, women like guys to be chivalrous and have some class and don't treat women like a piece of meat, right? Right. Well, guys are the same way. We'd like to have, I listen to too much music because I just had some ludicrous lyrics coming to mind. Well, guys like to have a lady in the streets, okay? That's the song I'm talking about. I'm not going to say anything else about that, except that most men like to have a lady in the street. That's not ladylike. When you twerking up on some guy that you don't know in the gas station at the convenience store, and he's trying to probably get his game on and get himself a 40, or I don't know, half gallon of milk. Maybe he's even just trying to get a soda pop. Say soda pop in D.C. But anyway, and what we got going on as well is more stuff down, well, not in D.C., but at Ithaca College. Ithaca College, New York. Yeah, by the way, did you hear about the a man is arrested in New York City for allegedly posing as a transit worker and stealing a Greyhound bus? What are you going to do with a bus? You can't take it to a chop shop and strip a bus. Well, maybe you can. Good luck with that. But Ithaca College, hundreds participate in walkout calling for President Tom Rochon, is it Rochon, R-O-C-H-O-N, his resignation. Now, President Rochon has announced the new position of Chief Diversity Officer, which will lead the ongoing work to improve the campus's racial climate. Dr. Roger Richardson, Associate Provost for Diversity, Inclusion, and Engagement, will serve in an acting role for this position until it has been filled. Now, today I'm announcing the creation of a new position at Ithaca College, Chief Diversity Officer. The position, Chief Diversity Officer. My sister went to Ithaca, and she has nothing but fond memories of going to Ithaca. Now, I don't know what. Look, this is a firestorm that's going to start erupting on college campi all over the country, and all of these wonderful liberal professors and college presidents and college chancellors, they're all got to be shaking in their boots right now because they're the ones that were out there teaching these kids about all of this supposed stuff that's going on around them, and now it's being turned on them. Now, see, these kids are supposed to turn all that fear and anger onto Republicans. Well, evidently, according to these kids, Republicans ain't the ones running the campus, ain't the ones running the school. So if there's an issue that's on the campus, it's the college itself that isn't responding to the needs of the student. It isn't because there's, hey, if there's a guy running around with a KKK hood on his head and the campus police and the campus administration, college administration doesn't do anything about it, well, whose fault is that? Republicans? No, it's the people that are in charge. And that's what these kids are claiming. So now these people have been trying to teach these kids how to be, very vocal about their feelings, and that their feelings count and mean everything. And now these people, are running scared of the students' feelings, because now the students are acting out like spoiled little brats throwing temper tantrums, and they could potentially break stuff and kill people. I'm not exaggerating. We know what can happen on a college campus. We know that when emotions run high and college students are all about their emotions, that hasn't changed in, 40, 50, 60 years. They're all about emotion. No, it's like a high school. When you fall in love in high school, you're just so in love. The love is so intense because you don't know how to handle it. You don't know how to moderate it. You're just so in love with that boy or that girl. You can't live with it. Oh my God. When you break up, you're like depressed for a month. Now most adults, when they break up, unless they're getting a divorce, they're married for a long period of time, but most adults, it doesn't take them a month to get over that. Not at all. In fact, look, a friend of mine a while back, 2 years, got a divorce. Well, he split up from his wife, got a divorce. A week after he split from her, he was out there dating. Got over her real quick. But that's how adults can handle this stuff. But these kids, these 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, they're still kids. I remember when I was 18 to 20, I was still a kid. We were all still kids, but we didn't know anything. Oh, all that we knew was what we learned in high school. And you don't learn anything there. You don't learn anything about life in high school. We don't know, and then we go from high school to college. We don't know Jack. And these kids are the same way, and they think they know everything, and they don't know anything. So their emotions are running wild. They don't know how to control their emotions. They don't know how to temper them. They don't know how to be logical with them. So and it just gets out of hand. And all these wonderful, liberal moderators and professors and administrators, now they're running scared of these kids that they just let loose on the campus. Instead of giving them some rules to operate by, to giving them some rules that they're going to stick by. And if they break the rules, they're going to punish those who break the rules. Oh, no. They can't do that now. So they've let it go on too long. And now all of a sudden you got something like at Mizzou, University of Missouri. And a day or two later, this guy decides, well, geez, I quit. How does that happen? How are the inmates running the asylum? And now we got stories talking, hey, look at Ithaca. And there's stories about this college over here in Ohio and this college over here and this college. All of a sudden, are we going to have a new wave of liberosity going across the country? Is that a word, liberosity? Liberosity across the country and college campi all over the place because these kids, they're just going to let their emotions. Yeah. Hey man, that he said something I didn't like and the college isn't doing anything about it. No, the college not doing nothing about it. He said something I didn't like, man, and that hurt my feelings. And I'm mad now. I'm mad. I'm scared because I don't know what he's going to do. I'm scared, but I'm mad. I'm going to take some action, but I'm scared. But I'm going to stay on campus even though I'm scared to be here. I'm going to stay here for 8 years because I'm scared to death. And then we wonder, we must be up out our minds. I mean, really? So now this is going to go to this is SUNY at Ithaca. What's a chief diversity officer going to do? Is he going to force every student to go to diversity classes and diversity training? Are we going to start having college campus police on campuses that do have college campus police? We're going to start informing all the kids to report anybody who says or does anything that you think is going to hurt your feelings. Just like in Mizzou. Hey, if you see something, say something. Isn't that the Department of Homeland Security saying? You see something, say something, right? Report on your fellow college student simply because, he's not doing anything criminally wrong. He just may not agree with your position on anything. And therefore now you're frightened of him because he doesn't agree with you. And he's done did it now because he done said something that you don't agree with. I mean, you know what? Students walked out of classes demanding that the college president resign and saying it was vital to fight against both covert and overt racism in all places of education and empowerment. What, places of empowerment? You know what you do to these kids? You're not in class, you failed. You don't take the exam, you fail. Hey, feel free to pay for the class again next semester. But you know what? In my class, we're not putting up with this crap. There's no such thing as empowerment. That is a false word that means absolutely nothing. It's BS. You've let somebody fill your head with a bunch of BS. Empowerment this. I got a piece of chalk. I'm writing on the board. If anybody has anything bad to say, take it outside. Don't come back. You fail. Plain and simple. You're here to get an education, not to express yourself. College is a place to get an education, not to express yourself. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not an empowerment zone. You're there to learn. You're there to learn because you don't know anything. You don't know what to be empowered about. You don't know what to express yourself about yet. You know nothing. If you're a college student listening to this, let me be clear to you. You know nothing. You're there to get an education. You're there to learn. You have no real life skills because you haven't developed them and used them yet. You have no life experience because you're only 18, 19, or 20 years old. You have nothing. You are there to learn. And frankly, if you have an older student there, you know, somebody who is older who's returning to class, I would latch onto them because they know a hell of a lot more than you do. And they know what's out there in the real world because they've been there. And they're still there because they're real adults. You are not at the age of 18 to 21. I'm sorry. Unless you've gone into the military and you have gone through military training, you know and have experienced nothing. You do not have the right to ask for or demand somebody's resignation. You don't. And all you wimpy professors out there who capitulate to these do-nothing, know-nothing little skin-tight brats, you're an idiot. You're the adult. Act like it. If we don't start teaching these young people what is what, they're going to get older and still not know what is what, and we're going to have bigger problems than we do now. No, there are life lessons that can be learned with all this, and you just say, look, you don't go to class. Well, obviously we can't fire you, but because, you know, it's not a job. You just get an F. Oh, yeah, that F, that failure, it's going to affect your GPA. And we all know how companies like to look at your GPA. So stop acting out, stop acting up, get your butt in class, sit down, shut up, and pay attention. Because there is no overt or covert racism going on most college campuses. Because if there were, all of you people who felt this covert and overt racism wouldn't be going there 4 years later. Why the hell would you be? You're paying for it. Why would you pay to experience something that makes you scared? Like the guy, like the student at Mizzou. Yeah, I'm a graduate student. The first day I stepped on campus, you know, freshman, I felt scared. Oh, how long you been going to the campus or school here then? Oh, 8 years. Wait, you've been scared for 8 years? Are you kidding me? I mean, this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I just can't believe that we're actually going to go through all this. Did we not learn anything before? You know, in the 60s? Did we not learn anything from the 60s? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Wait, wow. people in the 60s are the ones, the children of the 60s are now running the institutes of higher learning today. My bad, my mistake on that one. Should have known better. Forgot. So of course, the former LSD taking, pot smoking, flower children, rock and roll, psychedelic dancing out in the mud at Woodstock type of wonderful idiots who used to say, trust no one over 30. Well, now they're over 30. They're in their 50s and 60s, and they're running these institutes of higher learning. And these kids have learned from their experience of the 60s, and because they've been teaching them throughout their educational career. Oh, yeah, we're going to empower you to do this, empower you to do that. And hey, there's this, if you don't even see the racism, it's still there. It's called white privilege. You've got this covert racism going on. And so now these kids get on campus and there's like, yeah, there's covert racism going on, man. Yeah, and we've been empowered to do something about it. And they rise up and the wonderful people that taught them all this kind of stuff are saying, wait, you're not supposed to be using that on us. Well, who else did you think they were going to use it on? They're not hanging around anybody else. They're hanging around they're going to go home and use it on their parents. Even this day and age, I think most parents would probably knock their kid out if they came home talking that kind of crap to their parents. So who are they going to use it on? Well, they're going to use it on people they're hanging around with. Well, they're going to use it on their best friend. Oh man, you're just a covert racist, aren't you? Well, no. They're going to use it on their friend. They're going to use it on their community that they're used to, and that's called college. And who's running the college? Oh, yeah, you former flower children hippies. That's who's running the colleges today. Because, they get out in the real world. They get out in the real public. They get out into the business world. They get out into the corporate world, the private sector, and they try pulling this stuff. You know what their boss says? Covert racism this. Get out, you're fired. Plain and simple. You don't get to do this out in the private sector once you become an adult. But right now you're kids and you don't know nothing.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you're being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And we are back. Oh my goodness, we're at the last segment already. The fastest 2 hours on Internet Talk Radio. I tell you, this time just flies by. We've already got an hour and a half under our belt. Unbelievable. Hey, yesterday when everybody was talking about the Mizzou, that Mizzou professor who was looking for muscle to manhandle and physically escort journalists out of the area where they were protesting, the protest area, the safe space. This is a safe space. You can't come in here. This is a safe space. So the kids, what? What's a safe space? Safe from what? I would think that the reason why you would want well, first of all, the lamestream media is probably on your side. So they're your people, for one. And two, how is anything going to change if nobody outside of the university or outside of the campus knows what's going on? You can't put any pressure on. Yeah, look, it's like, if we don't know what's happening inside a state prison, if there are awful conditions, I mean, if the prisoners are just inhumanly handled, and nobody from the outside knows, who cares if the prisoners all of a sudden erupt, and have a revolt inside the prison? If nobody from the outside finds out and broadcasts it and lets everybody else know, you know what the prison people are going to do? They're just going to start pointing their guns and say, hey, bang, bang, go back to your cells or you're dead. I mean, nobody's going to know. I mean, that's the dumbest thing. This is a safe space. You can't be here. Hey, somebody help me get him out of here. I mean, well, that professor, a professor of mass communication at that. So she should know better than trying to keep the mass media off the campus or out of the safe space or safe zone or what. What are they? What are these, like 5-year-olds? This is safe space, safe zone. You keep. No. This is why I say these 18 to 21, they're kids. They have a safe space on campus. There's no such thing as a safe space in the real world. Well, yeah, mate, that safe space is your home. You go home. That's your safe space. That's where you create your safe space, in your home. You can keep all the negative stuff out that you don't want to. You go in your house, you shut the windows, you turn off TV. That's your safe space. You're out in public. There's no safe space out in public. Not for what they're talking about a safe space is. I mean, that's just the most ridiculous, asinine thing I've ever heard of. They're on a public campus. Well, first of all, they're on a college campus. It's a public college, meaning that the taxpayers foot at least part of the bill for it. And they're on public property. And you want to tell it's a safe space? Well, and you are a professor of mass communication. I would hate to have been a student in her class then, because I obviously didn't learn anything if I was her student, because she obviously didn't know how to handle the media properly, and she's supposed to be this type of person that's supposed to be able to handle that kind of stuff. Well, that professor has announced, after telling students to stand up. Well, there's another professor who's also doing the cowardly thing. The liberals just don't have a backbone. And he could have been a conservative, Rod. If he was a conservative teacher and he bent over like that, no, he's not a conservative. I'm sorry. Conservatives have a backbone. So you have this from the Daily Caller. The other professor, this is a safe space. Well, she's resigned, and I guess I don't know. Either she resigned or she was on her own, or she was asked to resign. Either way, she was going to be gone. From the stories of the articles that I've seen, that she had to go. Well, she had to go because she was just proven to be stupid. Actually, you can't have a stupid professor. But anyway, here's this other Mizzou professor. Resigns after telling students to stand up to bullies. Now, the funny thing is why he resigned. A professor at the University of Missouri, so says the Daily Caller.com, has announced his resignation, hounded out after refusing to cancel an exam and telling students to stand up to online threats. The situation developed with incredible speed to drive nutrition and psychology professor Dale Brigham, Brigham, from his position at I would have just said, look, you're not there, you get an F. I'm not going anywhere. You guys got to learn how to stand up for yourselves instead of cowering back. I can't believe he hurt my feelings. Oh, my God. Brigham has scheduled a Wednesday exam for his nutritional science 1034 class. Some students emailed Tuesday night asking if they could skip the exam and make it up later, saying they were afraid to attend class due to threats posted online against black. Really? They were afraid of threats against black students. And we found out that these threats were fake. Now, I got that story in my pile somewhere. A lot of this stuff was faked. And I'll look for it. It's here. As I'm talking to you, I'll look for it. Brigham, who is white, initially replied by, that's his problem, he was white, initially replied by saying the exam would not be delayed or canceled and told students to come. They can't cancel or delay these. There is a schedule that these professors have to adhere to from the college. They just can't arbitrarily just say, oh, well, hey, Mr. Chancellor, most of my students they're afraid to come to class because of some supposed hoaxy type of threat online. So I need to reschedule my exam. Well, the Chancellor and President and the Dean and everything, they're going to come back and say, look, we got a deadline here. You got to have certain grades in. There are other exams that have been scheduled. We just can't float this around. It ends. The semester ends at a specific. What are we going to do? Extend the semester for your class? No, we can't. We got a schedule. You got to keep to it, man. So you go back. I'm sure this is probably what he got. You go back and tell your students, no can do. We got a schedule to keep here. This is not, do whatever you want time. This is called being self-disciplined. What are these students going to do when they're out in the real world and they have a job somewhere and they call up their boss? Hey, boss, can you close today because I know there's a threat against black people today. I'm scared to go out. Your boss is going to say, get your butt to work. I don't care what skin color you are. If you don't come in, you're fired. I need people here working. Really? This is why I say they don't know anything. You can't let these kids run anything because they do not know anything. All they have is this raw feeling that they do not know how to monitor. They do not know how to temper. They can't control it. They don't know how to yet. I was watching a program the other night. It's property virgins. This is the interesting. This girl, she's like 24 years old. Girl, 23, 24. Engineer. She says, I'm a baby engineer. Why are you called a baby engineer? Well, I'm a baby because I haven't been on the job long enough. I don't have enough experience to be called an engineer yet. In other words, even though she may have an engineering degree, she still doesn't know anything. So she's not really an engineer yet. But she's got the basics. She's got the groundwork to be an engineer, but she doesn't know anything. She's not an engineer. So she's out looking for her first house to buy. A very experienced, very successful real estate agent is trying to tell her, what the deal is with the real estate market in her area that she wants to be in, that she wants to buy in, the area that's going to fit her budget. She finds the house that she likes, loves this house. I gotta wait for my dad to come see it. Real estate agent looks at her and says, look, you have to understand the reasons why that you love this house. A lot of other people are going to love this house. It is not going to be on the market very long. So you better get your dad out here fast so you can put an offer on it. Within a week, that house sold. 2 weeks later is when she calls back the real estate agent. My dad wants to go see the house now. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. That house sold a week ago. And now she's going to pout. Oh, why? Oh, this is not fair. Oh, honey, that's the real world. You can't wait on this stuff. You just learned a cold, hard lesson of reality because you didn't know this lesson before. Even though I was teaching you and telling you, you couldn't put that into practical reality because you have nothing to base it on because you've never experienced it before. You have no idea. I can tell you and teach you all about the real estate market, honey, is what this real estate agent is basically telling her. But until you experience it, you're not going to know how to deal with it, how to handle it, and how to actually go and buy your first house. So you're going to have to learn these lessons. And basically, she told her, look, you learn. Now, luckily, and the girl still didn't learn a lesson, but here, let me continue. This is why I say that I should probably increase that age, because this girl was just stupid. Little high, college grad, thinking she knows everything, thinking she's smart, probably making a big salary, thinking she's got it all made. She's still stupid and doesn't know anything about the real world. The house that she loved comes back on the market because the original person that was going to buy it, the deal fell through. Then the homeowner drops the original price by $10,000. So the same real estate agent tells her, look, we got lucky here. Here's our chance. They dropped the price by $10,000. So the girl gives her an offer that's $5,000 below the dropped price. The real estate agent looks at her and says, well, there is another offer on the house. No, we don't know what they're offering, but there's another offer on this house. Now, remember, you love this house. And dropping it to $10,000 already, that's a really good deal. The girl says, I want to stick with my price of $5,000 below their new asking price. Real estate agent says, okay, Then she comes back, a real estate agent, all dejected, and says, you lost the house. And again, she's like, oh, I really like that house. Well, here's your problem. First of all, you waited too long the first time it was available. And you lost it then because somebody else snatched it from you. And then God gave you a second chance on this one. And gave you the house back, even at a lower price than you were willing to spend on it the first time. And you blew it again by trying to undercut the homeowner who already dropped the price $10,000 because they wanted to move the house. And you knew that there was somebody else bidding on it, so there was no time for you to play games. And you wanted to play games. Strike number 2, honey. The real estate agent says to her, well, we've learned a few lessons here, haven't we? The next time that we find something for you, you're not going to wait 2 weeks to jump on it, are you? Girl says no. And if it's a competitive bidding process, you're not going to try to undercut them, are you? Girl says no. Because they don't know anything, folks. And you're going to tell me that they're the ones who are going to determine. If I'm a college professor, they're going to determine if I keep my job or not? Hell no. They're going to determine and tell me when they're going to take an exam? No. You show up when the exam was originally scheduled because there is no emergency here. Your feelings do not count. Sorry. They do not count. Because as we have found out, those feelings were unfounded in the first place. And you don't know that they're unfounded because you don't know anything. College presidents and college deans and college chancellors, that's when they have to be the adults. You know, these kids are going to go out there and they're going to vote for somebody. And they're going to vote not knowing anything. They're going to vote for the biggest jackass they possibly can. Hey, that's how we got Obama the first time. Because he's going to play to their feelings because he knows they didn't know anything. Obama wasn't stupid. He knows these kids didn't know anything. He could tell them anything and everything, and they'll believe at least 90% of it, and that's more than enough to convince them to vote for him. And they did. Because he did. We lost as a nation. Now you got some places like Washington, D.C. that want to allow 16 and 17-year-olds. Hell, they know even less than the 18 to 21-year-old. If that's at all possible. Because I've been around a lot of 18 to 21-year-olds. Let me tell you, they don't know anything. And most of them are rude and inconsiderate at that. I'm serious. They really are. They only think about one person, themselves. They're the most important thing. You know, it's what is it? There's a guy that used to drive a taxi. He says, you know what? Because he drove a taxi in a college town with a lot of college. You know, he got out of being a taxi. He says, do you know why I got out of being? Because I got so many runs to the college, and pick up fares at a college. You know, and I have to wait there 15 minutes for these kids. You know, you text them and you'd call them. You tell them you're there. Well, I'll be right there. I'll be right there. And 15 minutes later, they're still not down. They're still not in my car. I was losing money. And they all get, oh, sorry it took so long, but blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it's all about them, huh? Because if they weren't ready to go, why did they call you? I don't know, says the taxi driver. I don't know. They're not thinking about anybody else but themselves. Well, the taxi takes so long to get here, man. You call one and they don't show up for at least a half hour. And it gets there, well, are you ready for one? You ready to go wherever you're going to go? I mean, you're only going to the bar, for crying out loud, right? You're 21 years old. You're only going to the bar. And you're going to making a taxi driver wait? I couldn't make any money. Not going to mention the town, but college town here in New England. It was getting too many. I'm sure that's probably true of many in college towns that have to deal with college students, because they don't know anything, and they don't really care to know anything because they don't care about. All they caring about is their own little silly little feeling. By the way, did you know that? Here is a story. Mizzou. It is a Daily Caller. Mizzou students hallucinate KKK on campus. Following the forced resignation of its president and an attack on student journalists attempting to cover protest, events at the University of Missouri have escalated even further in absurdity after hysterical students created a bogus rumor that the Ku Klux Klan was roaming campus. Late Tuesday night, Twitter began to explode with students and others claiming that KKK members had been spotted walking around MU's flagship Columbia campus, and the rumors that have appear to have been given major life after MU student body president Peyton Head made a Facebook post declaring that the KKK sighting had been confirmed in that he was actively working with police and even the National Guard on the matter. Head's comments added to the tumult, and soon dozens, both on and off campus, were tweeting about the supposed KKK presence, with some claiming the Klansmen were throwing bricks through dorm windows, and others wildly claiming the KKK were enjoying police protection. But it turns out the entire affair was an incident of mass hysteria. Barely an hour after the mania began, local police clarified that there was no evidence of any KKK activity on campus. Nobody was throwing bricks through windows. Nobody in a hood or claiming to be part of the KKK was beating up on black or other minorities. In fact, the police said we have found no evidence of anything related to the KKK on campus. Not only that, but despite Head's claim to be working with the National Guard, Wiemeyer said the Guard was not present at MU at all. School officials as well did what they could to tamp down on the panic. Well, you can't tamp down on the panic if you just go ahead and capitulate to them and resign and quit and walk out. That's not tamping down the panic. But as I told you, this is proof that these kids don't know anything. They don't know how to temper their feelings. They don't know how to control their imagination. And somebody says, oh, I think I saw a KKK member. The KKK is on campus. Oh, my God, the KKK is here, everybody. Look, did you see the what? The KKK is throwing bricks through windows? Where? That's all it takes. Because they're too stupid and immature to figure it out. That's when it takes a calmer head, which is usually an adult, to come in and say, hold on, time out, settle down. Let's figure this out. Where'd you see the KKK? Where'd you see the Ku Klux Klan? And everybody's going to look around and say, I don't know. Well, who said they saw him? That's what always happens. But it didn't happen out there, folks. It didn't happen on Mizzou, at Mizzou. It didn't happen there. What happened was two men who have families to support resigned their jobs. They quit. Instead of teaching these kids a lesson, they quit. And this is what we're going to get in our government. These kids are not only going to be voting, but they're going to start participating and trying to get jobs in our government. And you're going to have these people who are in government who are not acting like adults, who are just going to let them get away with all this stuff. Hey, we got 57,000 of them on paid leave. You want to tell me that's somebody that's an adult being in charge of these people that are saying you did something wrong, you're fired? No. Why don't you just go home for a while? You'll get paid. It's okay. We'll take care of it. So $1.5 billion is going out the door for people not doing any work at all that works for the government. They're not working for us. And we get all these guys standing up on the stage and none of them addressing anything like this. They want to all have their little polished little answers and polished little speeches about, well, I can do this and I can do that. And 90% of them know they can't do any of what they just promised you on stage because they have to get it through Congress. And Congress will not allow it. And, we're all sitting back wondering why we have the same government that we hate and despise. Because we're acting like those stupid little kids who don't know anything. Well, it's time we grow up. Is it not? Well, that sound means that we are out of time for today, but we'll be back here tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be able to cover more than just one subject. Until then, I'm Rod Eccles. This is the Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.
You're tuned in to Rebooting Liberty.
You're listening to Rebooting Liberty Radio Network. Compelling and entertaining talk.
Don't touch that dial.